there, everybody. Welcome to our Friday meditation, our global meditation. Oops, I'm sitting on a cell phone here. I was wondering what was poking me. And while people are joining, I'm just going to play around with my harmonium a little bit, get myself warmed up to teach you a chant. So it's nice to see you, Laverne and Maria and Kashi, and let's see who else is here so far, and Brenda and Trinity. Hi, Trinity. And Susan is listening from her phone, I think, because her car was in the garage. Okay. So I'm welcoming you today with, and I'm going to sip a little tea here because my voice is a little bit clogged up. And I would say to you, I'm definitely not a professional singer or a professional musician. And you can see, wait a minute, I'm just going to turn this so you can, there she is. There's my, well, try to get this. I hope I'm not making you dizzy with this. Trying to get you a view of what I was just playing because some of you are unfamiliar with what a harmonium is, and others of you are quite familiar with it. This is a wonderful little one for those of you who are musicians and want something quite portable. My friend Mindra Sahadeva, who actually does kirtan and a lovely chanting satsang. He's been doing them for several weeks now, every night at 7. here on Facebook Live. But he builds and repairs harmoniums, and this is one of his masterpieces. This little one that weighs about 11 pounds. And she traveled with me all through Scotland a couple of years ago when I was leading the Mystical Scotland journey. And I know we have a couple of people on here who were on that amazing adventure. So she lends herself to doing things like this. My other harmonium weighs about 30 some odd pounds and is a very old girl. But Mindra was able to restore her to playable levels, which was miraculous. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you. I'm just looking to see, here comes some more people. Lynn and Andrea from Nova Scotia. Oh, David, you made it onto the call. How wonderful. And he's thanking me for a little energetic work I did on him about 2 hours ago. And Suzanne, who's up in Maine. Hi, Mary. And Sam Talala Trev Ford, who is watching us from the UK also, as is David. Hi there, Kenrick. Glad to have you join us. And, Janice Kushner, welcome. And Patricia. Come on. I got little things popping up in my screen. And Tessa. Hello. Oh, gosh, I see that. Her long hello. So welcome to you all, and I suspect a few others will be joining us along the way. So I sent a rather long message about a half an hour ago, encouraging people to really jump on today because in the energetic healing work that I do, there's an understanding that all crystals have both a bij or a seed mantra. And hello, Mike. I think you're new to join us. Very nice to see you. And so one of the things that was revealed to me in working with the COVID-19 issues is that by the masters of the Shakti Swarupa path of healing, is that this particular cell structure is a very difficult one, as we all know, to penetrate with allopathic medication. And so what they said in their ancient masters is that the only real way to deal with it was energetically. And I ended up in a situation where, and I think you all know that herbs and oils and things of that sort are energetic frequencies. And if you don't, now you do. And so I've been doing a lot of work with that and with the protocols, and just finished the COVID protocol. And I always put a quotation mark around finished earlier this week, after weeks of mind-bending complicated stuff that was coming through and trying to figure out how to use that in a healing protocol. And one of the things that was a rather miraculous discovery was the power of a kind of tailor-made healing mantra. And one of the things that was added to it about 2 weeks after I discovered how amazingly it works with a couple of people who had COVID, and it's sort of stopped it in its tracks and helped them to climb out of the hole really quickly in comparison to many others, was that, hi Vasuda, and that these healing mantras were pretty amazing. But then I discovered that there was a lot of ancient research and experience with the use of copper in beating back bacteria and viruses. But copper is a heavy metal, so you got to be careful about taking it internally. And so one of the pieces of work that we do in the Shakti Swarupa tradition is we create crystal essences from an actual crystal. We transfer the vibrational frequency into water. And it's an amazing long process and very mysterious and ancient. And so I went about trying to discover by channeling copper crystals, what the simple Bij mantra was for that, so that I could add it to these healing mantras. And also went on to channel the crystals' kirtan mantra, because each of the crystals has either a kirtan mantra or a Gayatri mantra or a Swadhyaya mantra, which is big. That's like a long chant. But most of them just have kirtan mantras. And what came out was knock your socks off powerful. And so in the announcement that I sent around, I actually put the words to this chant in the announcement, and I put it on. It's posted on my wall as well. And it's posted on the wall of the Wilcox Center and the Shakti Swarupa Path of Healing, so that you can take a look at that and actually copy down the words. But the words that you heard me chanting were Raksha Kalima Namo Nama, Kala Bhairava Namo Nama. And when this came out, it was quite a process to refine it, because I knew it was going to be some kind of a Kali mantra, but I kept hearing this other syllable and started looking, and I knew there was going to be a Shiva to it too. That was coming through loud and clear. And so I had to look up the different forms of Kali, who is one of the principles. She's also a goddess in the Hindu tradition, and she's quite fierce. She's a warrior goddess. And there are 9 others in that collection. They're called the Maha Vijas. And so I had to look up the different forms of Kali, because I was getting that this was one of her forms. And what came flying up in my face was Raksha Kali. And when I looked up what Raksha Kali does, she protects from epidemics. So you can imagine, I was just like floored. And then I had to go after whatever the form of Shiva was that would match her, because nothing seemed to be working. And so I started looking in one of the scriptures that has all the different names for Shiva, and up flies, it's almost like neon light flying in my face, Kala Bhairava. Well, Kala Bhairava is a form of Shiva that actually is another warrior, and he is a fierce protector of all. And he arises out of the energy of Kali. So I started to chant this mantra. I was just chanting it to a tune that's used to chant another Kali mantra, Kali Durga Namo Namah. And I could hardly stand up. I was so stoned. And so every time I've taught it to people, they've felt it. And what I was told about this mantra, both in the meanings of the deities of the mantra and from the masters, is that this is the mantra for this time. This is the kirtan mantra to be chanting now. Both to build up the energy of that protection around you and to spread it into the world. That's why you see me getting up the courage to actually video this Facebook Live when I'm not really a professional performance. Hello, Patty, my dear friend from Saskatchewan. So beautiful to have you with us today. And Ginny, and I'm sorry about your pop passing. You know, we know about that in this household because we had a recent loss too. And so, you know, I just got loud and clear that I need to spread this to anybody who's wanting to learn it, who likes to sing, and is because it's powerful, it's relatively simple to learn. And once you start chanting it, it doesn't go away. I've been walking around for days when my mind isn't doing something else. This mantra, this kirtan mantra, is singing itself inside. So, and then the other thing that I said in the message that I sent out a half an hour or so ago is that for many, sitting for meditation is sometimes hard because we have active minds. And you're seeing over my left shoulder a picture of Baba Muktananda, who was my first master in the Siddha yoga lineage, who awakened my Kundalini and taught me much. And he always used to say that if you have trouble with your mind, you should chant, because it engages all of your senses and your mind at the same time. So it acts as a kind of calming and purifying component on the path of meditation. So I'm going to invite you, and we'll just chant for a little while. I'm going to invite you to join me, and we'll do it in unison because it's a little harder in a situation like this to do call and response because nobody can hear anybody but me. So we'll do it in unison, and we'll do that for, you know, about 5 or 10 minutes and see how you feel with that. And then I'll lead you into meditation. And I'm going to do a combination today of the Hamsa meditation and a meditation on the master of your heart. Because you remember, I've said a couple of times that one of the things we need to do in these challenging times is be able to listen inward to our own inner self, to know what is right for us at any given point in time. And as we begin to do that, then we get, you know, kind of guidance from our own inner self and from universal consciousness as to what to do, where to go, when to do it, you know. And if we don't learn that, I can tell you from my own experience, if you don't listen and the message is coming through, you're going to get, I don't know how many of you have ever been fans of NCIS, where Gibbs used to give Tony a slap in the back of the head. Well, the universal energy, the Shakti, will give you a little slap in the back of the head or a butt kick to wake you up because you didn't listen. And something will happen that will say to you, oh my God, I should have listened to what I was hearing. And it's pretty powerful when you start tuning into that. And any of you who are 12-step people, you know that. Because when you offer your issues to the higher power, that higher power is going to give you a push in the right direction and help you with your clear intentions to live a better life. So please keep that in mind. And now we are going to do some chanting. So it's Raksha Kali Ma, Namo Namah. And I want you all to say that to yourselves out loud. Raksha Kalima, Namo Namah. And I'm loving, David says, truth with an exclamation point about listening to self. And that was another little confirmation from Narada, who's sitting here in the meditation room with us today. So, Raksha Kalima, Namo Namah. And that will be repeated twice. And then Kala Bhairava, Namo Namah. Here's another one of our folks from the UK. Hi there, Paul. So Kala Bhairava, Namo Namah. That one's a little harder. Bhairava, Namo Namah. Kala Bhairava, Namo Namah. And that's repeated twice. And then you'll see it goes, the tune moves into different parts here. And just follow along as best you can and try. Nobody's going to be listening to you except maybe somebody who's in the house or your pets or whatever. So don't worry about it. You know, don't worry about it if you're not chanting in key. You know, just put it out there and give it a try. I know some of you are experienced chanters and this will be easy for you, and others of you have never done this before. So just try and see what happens. And if you're being really shy about it, or if you can't sing for some reason because your throat is sore or, you know, you've got laryngitis, then think it along with us. And I'm going to take another sip of my afternoon tea. And I'm going to turn a little bit away from you now because I have to turn towards the harmonium. So, okay, so try that. And try it again. And now we're going to do Kala Bhairava, Namo Namah. Okay, try that. And now we're going to go into a higher set of notes. Try that. Do you have the words? Give me a little high if you got them. And we're going to go into, instead of my saying, okay, now you repeat this, and we're just going to go into chanting it for a while. And I'm going to put this up here so I can see what time it is. And if you start drifting off into meditation while you're chanting, that's part of the point of it, but try to stay conscious. Okay. I love that, Sam. She says she's been chanting this into her dog's neck. He's blind and deaf now, and he loved it. Very good. Animals love chanting and meditation. So, yes, I'll repeat it again out loud, just saying it for you, Patricia. It's Raksha Kali Ma Namo Nama. Raksha Kali Ma Namo Nama. And then Kala Bhairava Namo Nama. Kala Bhairava Namo Nama. And if you can pull up, if you're on I think you're probably on your phone, but those of you who are on a desktop or a laptop or even a tablet, you may be able to pull up the screen where I sent out the message, and it has it written there. You know what I should have done? I didn't even think to do this. I'm still learning. I should have actually put it under the title for this program, and maybe then you would be able to see it. But okay, here we go. chanting Om. Okay. Allow yourself to feel the vibrations of that chant still pulsing inside you and around you. And I see a few more people have joined us. Welcome. And now, what I'd like you to do is just refresh your posture. If you're sitting on a chair, you're going to have your feet flat on the floor and your palms face down on the top of your knees and your lower thigh, or cupped in your lap with the palms upward, one hand in each other. And you're going to close your eyes if you haven't already, and just begin to breathe deeply. And breathe in deep, and breathe out long. And breathe in deep, and breathe out long. Breathe in deep, and breathe out long. And now let your breath come to its natural rhythm. And feel the breath coming in and just going out in its natural rhythm. And as you're breathing in, let your mind follow the wave of the breath. As you breathe in, and as you breathe out. So your mind is riding on the waves of the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. And now begin to feel as you breathe in where the breath stops on the in-breath. It stops and then turns to go back out. And then follow the breath out and feel the space out in front of your breath, where it stops to turn to come back in again. And allow your mind to rest in the space between the breath, either on the in-breath or the out-breath. There's deep stillness as well as profound energy within that space. Profound healing energy, profound love, profound peacefulness, profound creativity. Everything you could possibly imagine in terms of all your power and strength dwells in that deep space in between the breaths. And begin to hear the sound of the breath coming in as you're sitting there in that space and going out. It's the natural mantra of the breath. It's hum on the in-breath and Sa on the out-breath. Hum in, Sa out. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, that means I am that. In other words, I am that consciousness, that pure, supreme consciousness. Hum in, Sa out. As you sit there resting in the space between the breaths. And now we're going to plunge deeper into that space, like you're diving into a pool. Because that space is right where the heart chakra is. It's what's called Dwadashanta. And in that Dwadashanta is the inner heart chakra. So I want you to imagine that you are walking along a hallway in a very sacred building. And as you walk along that hallway, you're going to see or feel or imagine that there's this beautiful, beautiful door. And you're going to come up to the door and very quietly open the door, quietly and slowly. And you're going to be standing in the doorway of a very beautiful room. And at the opposite end of the room, you're going to see the master of your heart sitting in a beautiful chair. And you're just going to take that view in and very, very respectfully and slowly walk toward the master of your heart and sit down in front of the master of your heart and just gaze up and take in the experience of meeting the master of your heart. And then you're going to, in your mind, ask the master of your heart, what message does he or she have for you today that can guide you during this challenging time? And that message may come in many words, or it may come in one word, or one sentence, or one feeling, or one vision. It could come in any way that your heart master chooses, knowing what you are going to be most receptive to and able to receive right now. And when you've received your message from the master of your heart, I want you to find a way to pay your respect and show your love to the master of your heart. And you're going to stand up and give a little bow with love and respect. You might even do your hands in prayer position in front of your heart and just bow your head. And then slowly back up and turn and walk back to the doorway of the room and turn and gaze back at the master of your heart and bow again with great love and gratitude, and slowly walk out of the room and quietly close the door. And when we come out of meditation, you will remember the message in one way or another. So now I want you to go back to paying attention to your breath. Feel the breath coming in and going out. And just begin to hear hum on the in-breath and sa on the out-breath. And remain sitting in that space between the breath. And allow yourself to feel any shifts that you're experiencing as a result of connecting with your master of the heart. And I want you to know that you can return to that beautiful room and to the master of the heart anytime you wish, just by going into meditation, becoming still, and then imagining that hallway and that beautiful door again. And now we're going to do a couple of ohms again. I'm going to see if I can do this with the iPad up on top of the harmonium. There we go. can begin to breathe in deep and breathe out long. And again, breathe in deep and breathe out long. And once more, breathe in deep and breathe out long. And wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can stretch if you want to. Take a nice deep breath and make a sigh. And open your eyes. And I hope that you all had a wonderful message in one way or another from the Master of your heart. And you may, if you have a piece of paper next to you, you may want to jot down a couple of words of it so you make sure that you remember it. Because sometimes when we're in meditation, we get these profound realizations, and then we come out and it's like, what was that? So it's, you can write it down. So if there's anybody who would like to share, you can share that in the little chat part of this. If there's anybody who has any questions, you can do the same thing, and I will, recognize that. My chat is not very big, so. Missy's sharing, my dear friend Missy. Tears of joy from my master of my heart. Wonderful. Yeah. It's time to connect with that joy, because when we do, it helps us and it helps everybody around us to hold that space. Anybody else? Anybody have any questions? Or are you all deep still in your meditations? You're welcome, Patricia. I think we all needed that. It's been a pretty intense time. How are my UK people doing? So nice to have you with us again. Oh, Peepa Jean, so nice to have you here. Please come back again. If we weren't on shelter in place, I'd have you come here with your guitar and chant. We could chant together. Peepa Jean is a wonderful singer with a wonderful group. Let's see. Mimi's just giving me. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so glad that your heart master gave you a reminder of something that was so important to remember. You're welcome, David. I hope that helped you feel even better tonight. Hope it loosened up that chest stuff. You're welcome too, Kenrick. I'm glad you found it a wonderful experience and were able to join me. Kenrick is a man of great heart. I met Kenrick when I was responding to a crisis situation with an organization. And he was such a good-hearted person. He does security work for that particular organization and has retired from state service, and we thank you for that, those long years of service in the DOC. And I had gone to the wrong building, and I was still hobbling. with a cane from my recovering from my hip surgery. And he so kindly walked with me. And then we drove across this very large parking lot, and he made sure that I got into the building that I was supposed to be in. And we got to chat about his and my experience of working for the state of Connecticut and so on. And it was quite lovely. And so I'm so glad you've joined us, Kenrick, and that it's given you a wonderful experience tonight. Because he's still working. You know, he's one of those essential employees. So, thank you for what you're doing. All right, my friends, unless somebody else has something you would like to share or questions you'd like to ask, we're going to end for today, and I will be back with you again next Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight Savings Time, or whatever time that is in your part of the world. And I would love to hear from you in terms of your experience of trying to do this chant, and you're very welcome, Andrea, my dear friend up in Halifax, and how this went for you, because this was an experiment for me to try to do this, and any feedback that you might have about making this better. I am going to try to do kind of like an official recording of this chant, perhaps with my students on Zoom tomorrow, and find a way to get it out there so that other people can learn the chant. But feel free to spread the word, those of you who think you've gotten it and have a little musical talent. And Peepa Jean, if you want to contact me with some suggestions, I'd certainly appreciate them in terms of the tech end of this. And because I'm sure you and your wonderful band have been looking at how to do all of that. And I have someone else who's been, Ryan, who's been on these meditations too, who's got a good bit of background. So one way or another, we'll get this out so that you can have the fun and the power of bringing this energy of Kala, Bhairava, and Rakshakali into your space and sharing it with the people who are important to you. So, on this still full moon time of my dear Baba Muktananda, I wish you a very, very, very peaceful, strong, and joyful evening. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.